trying to figure out, like, am I really handsome or like, would the people just be saying that? I don't really know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Something is stirring in Dallas, and it has nothing to do with Dak Prescott. It has nothing to do with the offensive line or the defense, or even the endless speculation about Micah Parsons. No, this storm is brewing at the one position Jerry Jones thought he had finally put to rest, the backup quarterback job. And the name at the center of it all is one that sends shockwaves through every corner of the NFL. Shedeur Sanders. Let's set the scene. On the surface, this has been a strangely calm offseason for America's team. Jerry Jones, the man who never met a headline he didn't love, has actually done something out of character. He's kept his guys. Javonte Williams is still here. Brandon Aubrey, arguably the most automatic weapon in football, is still here. Even George Pickens, brought in to stir the pot at wide receiver, is locked in. For a franchise that thrives on chaos, this offseason has felt almost peaceful. But peace never lasts long in Dallas, because buried underneath the calm is a quarterback competition that nobody is talking about yet. The Cowboys brought in Sam Howell, a 25-year-old still trying to find his footing in this league, still learning the speed, the reads, the brutal, unforgiving nature of playing quarterback in the NFL. He's set to battle it out with Joe Milton for the QB2 job behind Dak Prescott. On paper, it's a quiet, unremarkable backup battle. The kind of story that gets buried on page 10 of training camp coverage. Except one name has just been thrown into the mix. A name that could turn this quiet competition into the biggest story of the summer. Shedeur Sanders. Reports have surfaced connecting Sanders to 3 possible landing spots amid mounting trade rumors out of Cleveland. And when the list came out, one team stood out above the rest. Not because it made the most sense. Not because the fit was obvious. But because of who it involved. The Dallas Cowboys. America's team. The most talked-about franchise in professional sports, run by a man who has never once shied away from the spotlight. Just imagine it. Jerry Jones, sitting behind his desk, hearing that Sanders could be available for pennies on the dollar. Behind Dak Prescott, with the entire country already watching this team's every move, Sanders could develop, mature, and wait his turn as the long-term backup. It has the ingredients of a move only Jerry Jones would make. Low cost, maximum attention. A reason for every network in America to keep their cameras trained on the Cowboys facility all summer long. But here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. Should they actually do it? Because underneath the tantalizing headline, there's a warning sign flashing bright red. And it's not about arm talent or accuracy or football IQ. It's about something far harder to coach. Attitude. Rewind to the pre-draft process. Long before Sanders ever put on an NFL uniform, executives around the league were already whispering concerns. Not about his throwing motion. Not about his footwork. About him. About the way he carried himself. About whether a locker room could handle what came with him. And those concerns didn't fade once the lights came on in the regular season. They followed him. They found him again in his rookie year, in a moment that said more than any stat line ever could, a visibly frustrated reaction after learning he'd be stuck as the backup behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. No words needed. His face said everything. Now picture that same energy walking into the most scrutinized locker room in professional sports. A building where every practice rep is analyzed, every sideline reaction is clipped and shared a million times, every hint of frustration becomes a national storyline by sundown. Dallas doesn't just play football. Dallas performs under a microscope. And that microscope has ended careers before they ever truly began. Yes, there's a Pro Bowl appearance sitting on Sanders' rookie resume. It sounds impressive until you dig into how it happened. A wave of injuries and opt-outs across the AFC that thinned the quarterback pool just enough for him to sneak onto the roster. Strip away the circumstance, and the numbers tell a very different story. 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, more turnovers than touchdowns, in a season where he barely played half the schedule. Add in a modest 169 rushing yards and a single score on the ground, and you start to see the truth hiding behind the highlight reel headline. This isn't a finished product. This isn't a plug-and-play QB2 who can step in and stabilize a franchise. This is a talented, unpredictable, still unproven young quarterback, One who comes with more baggage than most teams are willing to carry, let alone a franchise already living under a permanent spotlight. And that's exactly why the Cowboys may want to think twice. Because right now, in Dallas, Texas, they already have their answer. Joe Milton brings a cannon of an arm, the kind of raw physical talent that makes coaches drool during OTAs. But that same power has haunted him just as often as it's helped him. Last preseason, he looked less like a legitimate threat for the job and more like the only man standing in the room. A default option, not a competitor. That default status just got erased. Sam Howell isn't walking into Dallas to be a footnote. He's walking in with a real resume, 17 starts, an entire season under center for the Washington Commanders back in 2023. That's not nothing. That's meaningful, tangible NFL experience. Real snaps, real pressure, real football decisions made in real time. For the first time in a long while, Milton has genuine competition breathing down his neck. And competition breeds growth. Competition breeds answers. So why complicate a situation that might finally be solving itself? Because this is Jerry Jones we're talking about. And Jerry Jones doesn't always choose the smart move. He chooses the moment. He chooses the story. He chooses the headline that keeps every football fan in America glued to Dallas, even in the dead of summer. Signing Shedeur Sanders would guarantee exactly that. Wall-to-wall coverage, non-stop debate, a quarterback room suddenly more famous than half the starting lineups in this league. But fame isn't the same as function. And right now, the smartest path forward for Dallas might be the one that doesn't make headlines at all. Let Howell and Milton battle it out. Let the competition play out naturally on the field where it belongs. Still, never say never. Because if both of those options falter, if neither Howell nor Milton proves capable of holding down that QB2 role, don't be shocked if the Joneses circle back. Don't be shocked if that door to Shedeur Sanders creaks back open. For now, though, the smart money says stay away. But in Dallas, with Jerry Jones running the show, nothing is ever truly off the table.